Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Lucas, and today we are going to present to you the theme of plagiarism. The members of the group are Bruno Valente, Isabella, Lucas Ricci, and Maria Eduarda de Paiva. Okay, so this is the table of contents. So we're going to start with what is plagiarism. Then we're going to go to forms of plagiarism, and then following why is it wrong, and then consequences, and lastly, reflections. So starting with the first one, we're going to talk about plagiarism, definition, factors, and when does it start. So to start our discussion and to foreshadow what we're going to talk about, it's good to know that plagiarism comes from a Latin word for kidnapper. Yeah, so just for us to have an idea of what we're going to talk about. So when we're talking about plagiarism, we're talking about like kidnapping, maybe of ideas or stealing ideas. Yes. So what is plagiarism? Yes. So this is a very straightforward definition of plagiarism to start our discussion. And according to Anderson and Stanek, plagiarism is a form of research misconduct and a serious violation of the norms of science. It is the misrepresentation of another's ideas or words as one's own, without proper acknowledgement of the original source. So this is a very uh, straightforward and simple definition of plagiarism. Yes. So moving on, we're going to watch a video from the student's perspective regarding plagiarism. Okay.
My first year, I was working on a huge marketing project. And there were different steps, and everybody was working really well throughout the year. And then it came down to like the final culmination, like the big part, we need to submit it. And then a few days later, we get like a red flag from our professor saying, oh, please meet with us like during these hours. That's definitely not something you want to see at the end of the year.
Taking someone else's work and presenting it as your own.
I would say it's taking someone else's work and then calling it your own.
Taking someone's work and using it as your own.
You should give credit where credit is due. I feel like it's more of a lazy way out.
So for example, you're researching for a project or an assignment and you're looking for an expert opinion, but perhaps you're looking at that, maybe you're a little time constrained, and you use those same words.
They usually just copy each other's answers, which is obviously not the right way to write a paper. Plagiarism probably happens more often than you think. You could probably be honest with your answers, but the next person beside you probably isn't. I would say it happens a lot. Following the guidelines like AMA, APA formatting is very difficult.
I think plagiarism happens every day. It might happen in every one of your classes, and it's just one little misstep where you maybe don't put a quotation mark in or you don't paraphrase correctly. That can definitely happen.
I know a friend that actually did do plagiarism and didn't think they would get caught and just rearrange a few words. But the professors know here; they know, they have experience with the stuff.
So I was given a group assignment, and a part of it was to be done by one of my group members.
I did get docked marks for not having the correct formatting, and docking a little bit of marks, it does add up at the end of the assignment.
So the part that he was supposed to present on the assignment, we did not check it.
So it's not like you're meaning to plagiarize, but just not having the correct citations there, not putting your correct reference in lists, it can add up and it'll affect your grade.
That was taken as an offense, but our faculty was very much understanding. The repercussion was that we had to do the assignment all over again.
Okay, very good. So In this video, they bring a lot of topics that we are going to discuss further in the presentation, but it's good to see that they all define plagiarism as taking someone else's work and using it as your own without giving proper credits. Yes, very good. And then here we bring another definition of plagiarism, but Fisherman prefers to focus on plagiarism elements. Yes, so he discusses in his article about regarding plagiarism that he doesn't agree with comparing plagiarism to theft, for example, because according to jurisdiction, when you steal something, for example, when you take possession of a property, the person that you've stolen from, they lose access to that property. Yes. So for example, if I steal a phone, now I own the phone, I have the phone, and that person that I've stolen from does not have access to that phone anymore. Yes. So according to Fishman, we can't really compare plagiarism to theft. Um, Also, it's not quite a fraud and it's not quite a copyright infringement. For example, there are cases of plagiarism that people that you're copying from allow you to copy. Yes. So if you ask a friend to copy, for example, a university work and they allow it, yes, it's not like a copyright infringement because you have their permission, even though it's plagiarism. So Fishman prefers to focus on plagiarism elements to define plagiarism. So according to him, these are the 5 elements of plagiarism. So plagiarism occurs when someone first uses words, ideas, or work products. 2, attributable to another identifiable person or source. 3, without attributing the work to the source from which it was obtained. And the fourth, it's a very important and good element in a situation in which there is a legitimate expectation of original authorship. So if you're presenting a university paper, a school work, or an article with your name on it, you have this expectation, yes, of original authorship. And the last one, in order to obtain some benefit, credit, or gain, which need not be monetary. Yes, so according to Fishman, these are the 5 elements that we can use to define plagiarism. And then here we have an image to represent plagiarism, yes. So this guy here is like stealing quotes and citations, yes, without giving credit. He's like literally stealing, yes. And then here we go to some factors of plagiarism, okay? So the first one is easy access to the material through internet, yes. And that it's similar to the second one, that's regarding easiness of copying. Yes, so with internet, we have all this material online, so it's more easy to copy. Individuals' attitudes, so in this case, it's like a question of character. Yes, so the person's character. And then a very important one, lack of knowledge regarding plagiarism. Yes, so for example, if you guys remember, there's like a woman in the video that said that she was doing a paper and she didn't cite the sources properly. Yes, so she kind of committed plagiarism without the intention of it. So we have the lack of knowledge regarding plagiarism as an important factor. Lack of writing skills. So for example, students feel insecure or they feel that they can't write certain paper or certain assignments. So they end up plagiarizing because maybe they don't believe in their writing skills, yes, or they have a lack of of them. And then the last one, improper time management. Yes. So for example, you have an assignment due midnight and it's 11 o'clock. It's the fastest way for you to finish that assignment is to copy. Yes. So you end up committing plagiarism. So to finish our discussion regarding the definition of plagiarism itself and the factors, we have a question. So when does it start? So when does plagiarism start? Because if you see here, one of the factors, yes, is the easy access to the material through internet. But do you guys think that plagiarism starts only with the internet? Yeah, so as the internet got bigger and wider, plagiarism increased in some kind of way. What do you guys think? You can leave a comment there. Pause the video and leave a comment if you want. So here I bring to you a research that pointed that 58.3% of high school students let someone else copy their homework in 1969. So this was way before the internet. So way before the internet, plagiarism was already happening with a large percentage of students. And then in 97.5% did so in 1989. So right before the start of the internet, we have 97.5% of students admitting that they let someone else copy their work. Yes. And in that same research, we have nearly 90% of college students strongly agree or somewhat agree that it is wrong to hand in someone else's writing as one's own. Yes. So even though we have 97% of students committing plagiarism, 90% think that it's wrong. Yeah, so we have here like a conflict of ideas. Okay.
Hi, so now I'm going to be talking about forms of plagiarism. Here we have direct, which is copying a section of someone's work. So when you go and read a text and put it on your work and take it as your own. Accidental, which is the unintentional plagiarism. Self-plagiarism, which is when you use your own work without citing yourself. And inaccurate authorship, when you give credit to the wrong person. We also have the complete, which is when you copy someone's entire work. And we have source-based, which is referencing a non-existent or wrong source. Paraphrasing, which is when you copy more than 4 words of somebody's work. And we have mosaic, which is the most cruel one, because the people that does this is copying a lot of works to use as their own.
Now I am telling you a little bit about why is it wrong to plagiarize. So first, it's a form of stealing. So when you plagiarize someone else's work, you are stealing their thoughts, like you're stealing their intellectual property. We can think, for example, as materialistic things. When you take someone else's phone, that is their property. They bought it. It's their belongings, and when you steal it, well, it's a crime, right? The person who you stole the cell phone from feels like very bad, right? And it's like a terrible thing to do. So plagiarizing someone else's work, it's just like that, but it's not materialistic things, it's intellectual things. Disrespect. If you take someone else's words as your own, you're disrespecting your colleagues in your works. Colleagues, they are on the same situation as you. They had to do papers, they have to write a lot, they have to deliver lots of things, and sometimes it's hard, sometimes you don't have the time, but they actually worked hard to do that. And if you take someone else's words, it's just like you're disrespecting the time that it took to do that, the time that they spent trying to complete that work. It destroys your reputation. So by plagiarizing, your peers will no longer respect you. So as I mentioned just now, everybody spends their time to try to finish their homework, their works, and if you do that, they're not gonna be happy about it, right? So they will spread the word, and everybody will know that you are disrespectful and they plagiarize everybody, right? So it really destroys your reputation because it's not something that it goes by like lightly. Yeah, it's something that happens and it wrecks your life, right? Um, just like many professors have been caught plagiarizing someone else's work. There's even ones that plagiarize students' words, and that's really bad. And yeah, it ruins their reputation. Incorrect value. So when you plagiarize, it reflects on your academic integrity and your progress of learning. So you have to have the decency to know that it's wrong, to know that you've been spending a process of learning, and when the teacher asks you for work, for an essay and a paper, whatever, they expect to see how much you learned. They expect to see what's your progress. And from that, they will like assess you and see how well you did. It's from that work that he will assess you. If you plagiarize, it's going to be bad for you because you will affect, right, in your process of learning. Yeah. These are 4 topics, but I could spend like the whole night talking to you about it because yeah, it's wrong and we all know it, right? And it's not even like something that you can like try to manage like, oh, maybe it's not so bad, because it is, right? It is very bad, and it's a social rule. Everybody knows that, and even if we don't ask each other if like, but why is it really wrong, we know it deep down, we know it, right?
Hello, I'm Bruno, and now I'm going to talk to you guys about the consequences of plagiarism. So, according to the Brazilian Penal Code, plagiarism has, if you commit plagiarism, you are likely to get a bail or detention of 3 months to 4 years for plagiarism. But there's also the other consequences, like suspension or expulsion from the institution you're enrolled in, which will harm your professional life, will harm your academic life. That, as mentioned by the Brazilian Penal Code, there are the legal repercussions and monetary repercussions. And one solution to plagiarism, according to the Academic Writing Help Center from the University of Ottawa, is referencing. So referencing is not only a sure way to prevent the negative consequences of plagiarism, but also an excellent opportunity to develop your critical thinking skills. Moreover, by establishing a clear distinction between your ideas and those of others, you can more effectively show the professor that you have done some serious research and critical analysis. So basically, referencing is more likely to solve all the problems concerning plagiarism. But before you can do that, you have to first know. So you have to know how to make the reference in the proper way. But once you learn that, it's the best way to avoid plagiarism. So now for the reflections. We would like you guys to think a little bit, and you can then later on answer in the comments. But our question for you guys is, have you ever committed an accidental plagiarism in your academic life? So that's the question we would like you guys to think, and if possible, answer in the comments. And here are our references. Make sure that we did not plagiarize anything. This is our first page of references and our second page. And that's it, guys. We hope you liked our presentation. We hope it was helpful for you. And that's it. Thank you.